So first of all, let's introduce with the light fittings. This is the main light fittings we are going to discuss. First of all, we have linear lights. So linear lights is mainly the aluminum rigid fittings, which can be used for the direct effect and indirect effect. We have linear wall washers, which is to give an effect to the wall with a grazing effect or to a spot effect. To indirect, mainly wall washers used for the indirect effect. And we have outdoor spotlight and floodlight, which is there are two type of use for the outdoor spot and flood. The spot is mainly for the small area and flood for the larger area with the bigger, like 60 degree, 80 degree, like when you have a huge building to light up. Then you have the pixel dot light. We have a wide range of use of pixel dot light for facade. Then we have neon flex. Neon flex and linear light, the effect is same effect. Only we get in neon flex is the flexibility. When we have the carved building or we need to have some sort of flexibility, in that time neon flex is the best option because the linear light is made of aluminum, so we cannot bend as a neon flex. It cannot be flexible as neon flex. Rather than that, all the effects and everything, it's the same as linear lights. So let's start with our course with the linear lights. So this is linear lights. As I mentioned, the aluminum rigid fittings, we call linear lights. It has a lot of type of fixtures. Every company has their own fittings, but every company you can see one similarity is it's mostly light fittings is made of aluminum, and the top part is giving the illumination. This is mainly for the direct view when you see the light fittings directly, and this kind of light fittings you can see with the lens, also linear light, very small lens. It also direct view, but to have a strong light output. When you have a very far view, then in that case use the open chip without any opal diffuser. These both fittings, it's with opal diffuser. Like in Burj Khalifa, they use open chip without any opal diffuser. That's why even if you go very far, you see very strong brightness. That's why I mentioned here, this is with solid PC because this area, it's a solid, it's a polycarbonate. And this one just a diffuser, also polycarbonate, but only a thin diffuser. It's not solid, it's like almost 10 mm solid. Then we have the like individual lens or individual chip. Both can be done. So this is some sort of projects, what type of linear light to use. So you can see this effect. This is mainly by using linear lights. This is direct view. A direct view means you are seeing the light fittings directly. That light fittings hitting your eyes directly. You are not seeing the illumination, you're seeing the lights directly. So if you see this, you are seeing this effect here directly. So it's a direct lights. And you can see here, we can see that high brightness linear lights. Also here, you can see you're seeing the direct lights. But here you can see something. This white line is the main light actually. And it's giving little bit of reflection to inside as well, okay? Because it's a side view, it has a side view as well. That's why it's giving that little bit of reflection on the side as well. But this white is the main light fittings, okay? This is the main light source. Okay, it look like white, but when you see in direct fittings, this is the color like blue, green, and red, okay? So as I mentioned here, look at this. This is the like solid PC. Okay, they use solid PC. They install the linear lights on the glass. And here in the Burj Khalifa, they use also linear lights. We'll discuss about in later stage what type of light fittings they use. We'll study the projects, how they install the lights and what type of fittings they use. That we'll learn in later stage. So this is the linear lights we mainly widely use for facade lighting. In every almost if you see the 100 projects, out of 100 projects you'll see 70% projects they use linear lights because it can create very strong effect and its visibility is very high from far. So now few things technically we are going to learn something how to install the linear lights. Also we are going to see how to create the effect in Adobe Animate by using linear light for mainly for the dynamic, like for Burj Khalifa, or if you have any, like here, if you can see this text can be played. This is dynamic linear lights. So we are going to see how to create that effect. And all the linear lights, it's DC 24 or 48 volt. So it's need driver. So we are going to see how the driver need to be connected and how far driver can be kept. Because if we keep the driver so far, it will have the power drop. This is not AC power. All the linear light, like it's the safest to keep because it doesn't have a driver on the light fittings. It's always remote driver. So for the remote driver, it's safe to use the DC. So DC voltage, it has a very high chance of power drop. So we'll check it out about that as well. So here we are now. This is like a basic linear light installation instruction. So mainly linear light, most of the linear light having clips. You can see this is one clip. This is the bottom view. This is one clip and this is another clip. First install the clip with the facade with the screw. Then install the light with the screw with the fittings. A very basic installation, and most of this is the one type of installation. Of course, there are a lot of linear light having their own installation, but 80% linear light you can find with this kind of clip and install the light from the side screw. And every company they are having their own instruction for the installation. And since linear light is coming 1 meter or 1.5 meter length, so it will have a male-female cable as well to connect the interconnections without having any shadow gap in the middle joint of the lights. And you can see here, if it is single color, it will have only the driver. From the AC, it will come to the driver. It will have the DC power to the light fittings. And if it is DMX, it will have a DMS controller, which is signal cable also need to connect on the first lamp. So both type of light you need to use for facade. It's either single color or it's RGB and with DMX. So let's see how. So this is a basic schematic I prepared to explain you how the linear light need to be installed. So let's say we have a 24 volt linear lights and we have 20 meters linear light we need to install. So this side 10 meter, this side 10 meters. Now we need to give the power. So the best way to give the light up the 20 meters, it's using a 24 volt, 240 watt driver, 24 volt, and the LED power is 10 watt. So total load we have for 20 meters is 200 watts. So we need to keep something extra power so that it will be safe. So for 200 loads, we are using 240 watt drivers. So as you can see, 10 meters and 10 meters, and this is the drivers. We are taking the cables, which is, we mentioned here, if it is 4 mm cables, you can keep the driver almost 40 meters away. So this light to driver, the distance can be 40 meters if we are using 4 mm cables. And if we are using 2.5 mm cables, the distance can be up to 25 meters. Okay, this is the maximum distance that we can keep the driver away from the lights. So we can bring the cables and we can connect like a T in the both side. So from here, we take a T connection and it's giving 10 lights this way and 10 lights this way. So it will not have any power drop. Because 24 volt, if I give only the power, bring the power here and give on the first light, it will have the power drop. After 10 lights, it will have the decreasing the power. And when it comes to the last light, it will not be anymore 24 volt. It will be, let's say, around maybe 17 to 18 volt. Due to that, it will have the dimming. So it will not be same illumination, all the lights. So for that, it's safe to use in the middle of 20 meters. So both sides it will be illuminate perfectly. most of the time we can see that a lot of projects we can see the power drop. This is happening just because of this. And nowadays there are a 48 volt linear light is coming. Most of the company, they are having 48 volt, because 24 volt every 20 meters and middle of the cable, it's a bit hassle. So there are a lot of company who is manufacturing now 48 volt. 48 volt connection is very easy. You can see that we can connect up to 50 meters. Let's say 10 watt lights, and 50 meters, we just need to give the power from the top, if it is single color. Okay. But why I'm talking if it is single color, because if it is RGB dynamic, there is a certain limit for the signal cables. So for that, if it is single color, we can run up to 50 meters. You need to use a big higher wattage. So if here 50 meters and each meter is 10 watt, so total load is 500 watt. So we are going to use 600 watt driver, 48 volt, and the same as I mentioned, 2.5 mm. From the first light to the driver can be 25 meters. If it is 4 mm, first light to driver can be 40 meters, as I mentioned earlier as well. So from here, the lights can be 50 lights can be connected one by one without any cables. You don't need to bring another cables here or looping, nothing. You don't need to do anything. Just give the power in the first light and connect the 50 lights. But this is the basic things. So before you're doing that, you need to reconfirm with the manufacturers, because each manufacturers, they have their own way of installation. So this is just a basic idea what you're going to see. But when you're going to do the installation, you need to discuss with the manufacturer first, or the best thing is you can ask them to give you a schematic. This is the best part to do safely. Whenever you have a lighting installation, you can ask a manufacturers to give you a schematic, the installation schematic. So based on the installation schematic, you can work. And if you have any confusion, if you have anything, you can just mark it on their schematic and send back to the manufacturers. So they can change accordingly. Okay, so this is how the linear light mainly going to install. And as I mentioned, linear light can be installed in two ways. Let me show you. So as I mentioned, there are two ways of installing the linear lights. You can see this one. This is a recessed linear lights. So it will be flush with the wall. If you see this wall, it needs to create some sort of groove. When sometimes you see the client don't want to see the light outside, they want to see the flush. So we need to create, his contractor need to do that. They need to create a groove based on your light fittings. Then the light fittings need to be flush with the wall. So light fittings will not be outside surface mount. This is a recessed mount. So this is one way. Then we have another way is installing surface mount. You can see this light fittings, it's from away from the wall. So this is outside the wall. This is exposed. These light fittings can be visible at daytime as well from the side or whole fixtures. So two way of doing installation. One is surface mount, another is the recessed mount. So these are the main basic things for the linear lights. Now we are going to see how to create the linear effect in Adobe Animate, that you can learn how to create the dynamic light fittings. Okay, so let's do that. We are going to learn today how to create the dynamic lights in Adobe Animate for the linear lights and for the dot light. So let's start. We are here in the Adobe Animate. We'll take a new file, create new. We'll take the size for the time being 1080. Frame rate will be 24. Action script will be 3. Now create. So this is our work area. First we need to take the images, the building image where we want to do the lighting design. File, import to stage. So we want to do the lighting design on this building. You can select wherever you are doing the building. So just move it to the first corner. And this is for the feed transform, for the changing the sizes. Press Alt key in your keyboard, also shift key together to make it little bit bigger. But we have a white area which is we don't want. Right button, document, match content. Click OK. Now we have the images already. Now I'll make the layer name as images. Okay. Now we'll just lock the layer, so we'll not have any problem when you'll do the drawing the lights. We'll create two type of lights. One will be linear, another will be dot light. So for the linear and dot light, we'll take a new layer. We'll give the layer name as lights. Okay. Now we'll create the lights. Sorry. Okay. So we'll create the lights. To create the linear light first, we'll take the pen tool. We'll draw the linear light here. This is just to see the effect. Later on, whatever you want, you can do it. But if we'll do all the lines. But if we do all the lines here again, it's doing the continuous. So we'll just press the selection key and pen tool again. And that you can do it in your keyboard. So we'll press the V key, then P. See, we'll just run all the linear lights in all the lines. We need to do all the lines because we want to see the effect, how it will look like. Now our linear light is almost done. We'll just make it here also so it looks nice. So our linear light is done. Now what we'll do is we'll take the dot light. Now we'll start the dot light. For dot light we need to use the brush tool. So we'll take the brush tool from here and we'll see the size. This size is okay. If you have any problem with the size, you can change the size from here. Okay. Now let's start. We'll draw some dot light. Just randomly, I'm just showing you the effect. Later on, based on your requirement, you can draw the dot light. I'm putting several dot lights so we'll understand the effect, because if I put very less, the effect will not be same as we wanted. So if we have little bit of more quantity, we can see the effect nicely. So these are our dot light. Okay. And these are the linear lights. First, what we need to do is to create the image, because these now all the lines. Go to the modify, shape, convert lines to fills. Without that, we cannot create the animation. Okay. Now I do that, but we can see this, our linear light, the thickness is very low. We'll increase the thickness. We'll just select, modify, shape, expand fill, and we'll just increase 1 pixel. Okay. Now I think it looks good. So here we have image and lights. Now we'll click the image. We'll take one more layer in the middle. It will be effect layer. Okay. Now we'll import the effect. Effect, we have pre-built effect already, which is already created and downloaded from YouTube and just converted in FLB. Without FLB, video will not come. So import video, embedded FLB. Then I have some I already downloaded and converted into FLB. These are the videos. So I'll create one effect. Okay, this is one of my effect. Now see, size are not same. So again, we'll click the free transform, press the Alt key and make the same sizes. Okay. Now you can see the play. But one thing you have noticed that image and all the lights are gone, because in the time frame that is only on the first keyframe. So what we need to do is, let's say we'll make it a 30-second video. You can see the second here. Click this one and third one, right button, insert keyframe. So our image and the lights goes to that keyframe. Now come here on the first keyframe, play the video. But you can see the video is playing but not on our lights. So what we need to do is go to the lights, click right button, click the mask. That's it. See, it's done. You have the video here already. We already created the effect. Okay. This is very simple, very easy. And within a few minutes you can create the effect anything you want. Just prepare, download the several effects from YouTube. Then you can just play anytime, color change or these. Now I'll show you one more effect. Right button, insert keyframe. Yes. Now we need to delete that effect. We'll delete. We'll import another effect. Import. Sorry, not external. Import video. FLB. I have some color change also. Let's say color change. Okay, this is my color change video. Again, alter with the free transform. Okay. Now we don't need to do the remasking again. Already is mask. We just need to lock it. Okay. Now see, goes to the end of 30 seconds. You can see the video length is more. So we need to cut it here. We'll press insert keyframe. Yes. And we'll just delete the video. But we need to unlock it. Without unlocking, you cannot delete. But you can see here some extra keyframe is there. We'll clear the keyframe, whatever extra keyframe we have. Just select. Because the video length was more than 30 seconds. Right button. Then you can see remove frame. Now we have exactly 30-second video. Okay. Now again lock it again. If you will not lock it, it will not work. Even after masking, if it is not locked, the layer is not locked, it will not show. Now you see, it's done. So now we'll just take it. So we need to go file, export video. Okay. High quality, you can select what quality you want. If you want 4K, if you want just high quality, normal mobile device, so it's 4K. Okay. Everything is here already. Entire movie scene or time, we'll take it entire movie 30 seconds. You can select the folder here. Let's say I'll give the name as dynamic lights and we'll take it export. Normally the output video from the Adobe Animate is MOV, but I have the encoder. Encoder will convert it to the MP4. We can see MOV. If you don't have encoder, then you need to use the Adobe Premiere or any other online converter to convert the MOV to MP4. Okay, you need to do that. Otherwise, you can just download install the encoder as well, which will be convert the file to MP4. Now see in the background, file is already exported, but it's doing the conversion. Because if you go to the folder, it's not there yet because it's doing the encoding. See, encoding is down now. The file is dynamic lights, MP4 has been successfully created. Okay. Now I'll go there. See, these are our dynamic lights. And you can see it's done. Your dynamic lights design is finished. So whatever effect we created, you can see here. So it's very simple, in a simple way. If you want to show just an effect to the client in a very simple way, this software and this is the best way to do it. If you have complicated design, If you have very much complicated way to do it, then you can use After Effects, you can use Adobe Animate in a different way. But for a basic, this is the best way to do it. Okay. Thank you very much.